We're going to bring the dragon head in, so I just did a file import and brought it in. And yeah, from Sculptress, it does resize stuff, unfortunately. So it's just a little itty bitty dot there. So just check your, it says the name still, dragon head underscore, and then it adds mesh to the end of it. So I'll just get rid of the colon mesh. And oh, is there a second one there? Dragon kin head. Okay, I don't remember seeing it, but all right. So, and we'll see if it spun it around sideways or anything. It looks like it did not, so that's a bit of a relief. So there's our dragon head, and I'm gonna go ahead and scale it up. And so he's our dragon kin head, right? So the neck would be more like a human biped and less forward, like a, you know, forward facing like a dragon would be. The neck would be back here, but since we're placing on a humanoid body, we could keep it right there. So I'll just hover it right over the top like that. And since this guy didn't really have a neck, no problem. We'll just scale. We'll just extrude up some edges here from the body. And so go here and grab the edges, double click the edge around the side there, go to the modeling toolkit and extrude. And yes, we haven't done this yet, but you can extrude edges. It just messes up the normals and colors. You see, it's pretty horrifically ugly. That's really strange. It would be that terrible. But you can see the lighting in there, the little ambient occlusion. I think I went into the renderer, went into the viewport renderer, and I turned on a little tool here for ambient occlusion. Consolidate light bounces. No, ambient occlusion. There you go. I enabled that. So that gives you a little bit of shadow in the crevices and lets things easier see. Again, that's the rendering. Pull down right here, render, viewport render settings. And I just went to screen space ambient occlusion, enabled it. And that gives us a little bit of shadow where you can see all that beautiful detail that we just did. Very cool. All right, so let's grab the body, double click around that base of the neck, give a little wiggle, make sure there's any trapped bases or vertices in there. And I'll go ahead and extrude, and we'll pull that up with W. So as I pull it up, you see the faces are, okay, they look better this time. That was odd. I don't know why Maya does the stuff it does sometimes. We'll bring it up one time like that, maybe rotate it forward a bit, and then extrude again, move tool, bring it up again, and there it went back. Oh, okay, it was just a lighting artifact while it was pulling. So then I can double click this one, go to scale, maybe turn off symmetry. Maybe the symmetry was the problem. And scale that out. Maybe go down here, maybe scale that out as well, because it's a pretty large head. And at least give it the thickness it needs, and pull it back a little. Yeah, maybe down. Maybe I went too high with it. I'm trying to give him a neck. There we go. And start up there with the head. And yeah, I don't know. It still feels kind of small in proportion to the body. I don't know. Maybe it's a back to object mode and scale it up a little bit more. There we go. Okay. So let's do the hard part. So if you want to do your final character, go ahead and do a file, save as. And we're going to do a re-topology for this character. So go re-topo Quadraw. 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 Did I just save that? I did it. I escaped out of that on accident, didn't I? Okay. Underscore Quadraw. Underscore L1. There we go. So save that. It's an ASCII, not a binary. All right. So what you do is you click on the head, and we're going to make this a live surface. So click on the magnet. Now what happens is this is a live surface magnet. And when we go to the modeling toolkit, you have the Quadraw tools. So I'll give you a copy of the keyboard settings. Shortcuts is right here. So what I'll do is a Windows Shift S for the snippet tool. I'll go here to the keyboard menu mouse, grab the Quadraw menu shortcuts. There we go. And I'll just drop that straight into the notes for you guys. So I'll go over here to the modeling notes, go over to this one and make a new slide and call this Quadraw. And the shortcuts down here, just paste that in. and it's a little big. It's okay. I guess I could do this twice. So copy and paste, bring it over and make it nice and big. For you guys doing notes live for y'all. Enter and then double click that one, bring it down just below where I left off. There we go. Enter. And now I can blow these up so you guys can see really nicely. And again, this shortcut menu is embedded in Maya, right? It's really an amazing interface. It's just a left mouse button, middle mouse button, right mouse button, and then Control, Shift, and Tab keys. I mean, easiest buttons presses to remember out of all these interfaces. So that's, again, Tab, Control, and Shift, and left mouse button, middle mouse button, right mouse button. And that's all you need to remember. And it's right here under the Quadraw menu. There's the Quadraw options. Just leave that defaulted. And down here is the keyboard shortcuts that I just put into the notes file for you for Quadraw. And I should add to that Maya. Quadraw and shortcuts. Beautiful. So how does Quadraw work? We have just, again, trying to keep this as easy as we can. Let's just do the bulk of it first. Do the spikes and the teeth last and just get the main body of it. So I would start off right here in the center of the model, and let's make sure, before we do that, let's make sure we got symmetry turned on. So we'll go symmetry object X and then turn Quadraw on, and let's see if we get a center line here. There it goes. Yes, we do. And then back to the middle and then hold down. So it's just left click, left click, left click. You need 4 points to create a quad. And then when you hover over the in between, hold down Shift, tap one time, and you've drawn a quad. So same thing, divisible by 2. So we'll go click, click, Shift, tap, click, click, Shift, tap. And as you put these, it's dynamic. You can move by vertex, by edge, or by face dynamically. Super love this interface. It's a great interface. Click, click. And if you're off center, they will snap together. Shift, and we want to go, it will want to grab from weird places. Sometimes like it might grab here. Depends on where you hover, or so I want to click right there. So that one I just did a 6-sided for, and if you want to even that up around the side, just like that. There we go, and kind of even them out a little bit. And you just continue. And so I would do the 6-sided one around there, around that, all 3 of them. Do around the eye. And as we saw with the human one, I would do a 12-sided. So click, 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 click. And then you don't have to connect the quads all immediately. I'm just going to do the 12-sided with enough to have a supporting arc around the top and the bottom. Get down to the crevice here. Click, 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 and then come around the side. And now I hold down Shift. 1, 2, and then you can even drag it. Dun, dun, dun. Whoops, and it will jump though, so I don't always trust the drag for the reason you just saw. And so you got to re-topologize this whole thing and get it to a good ready mesh. You can then bring that in, and you can still get this detail you sculpted back in there in a detailed program like ZBrush, but that would be like for an advanced class, which we could talk to the school about offering in the spring if possible. They might have a 3D illustration class we could do this for one of the schools. I don't know, we'll see. Yeah, there we go. That's pretty good. And it doesn't need to be exact. I just want to get, because you're making a new mesh, you're making a fresh, good base mesh that you can really work from. Now, there's a few different shortcut keys to be aware of down here that really speed things up as you go. But let me just keep it simple for now and get you in a bit of, get myself in a bit of a rhythm for that matter. If I hold down Tab and pull, it's going to extrude. So Tab, pull, let go, pull, let go. And then over the bumps of the nose there. I can always go way down to the bottom like that. And then if you hold down Control, Control lets you insert the edge loop as you go. So Control, Control, Control. If I want to do one going the other way, I can. Good this way. It's really powerful. which you can do with this. So this re-topology workflow has kind of taken over modeling, and so this is really the industry standard way to do things now, which I don't mind it too much. You used to like just know the mesh you're working on was the only mesh you're working on, and you worked on that mesh until you were done, and you'd have the super high poly mesh. You'd have a lot of vertices, and it'd get really messy. And it was just it was really difficult because if you made a mistake, you had so much to clean up and to work through. And now you can really say, okay, I did this freehand digital sculpt, which I think took me like 30 minutes. And if I was doing it on my own, it might have taken 10 or 20 minutes to do that. Just a quick concept for it. And now this re-topology can take an hour or so of your time. Whereas if I were to do this all in Maya, it'd probably take several days. Definitely for a professional, for a new person, it might take much, much longer to do something that's detailed. And the same interface is similar interface is available in ZBrush, so you can kind of, and I think you should be able to do this in Blender as well. So yeah, re-topology is a thing that you gotta know how to do. And I'm really just trying to find the flow. These are the arc flow. Just like in the beginning, how is this flowing? How, we want to go around this nostril, same thing. Like let's 1, 2, 3. So there's 1, 2, 3, 2. Let's give it a dizzle. Let's not use 7 faces. Let's try and keep this thing in the ballpark of being divisible by 2. And that way, everything will kind of snap together. If you get into any odd numbers, that's when you're going to get some triangles to deal with that. Maybe you don't know what to do with them. You just can't get rid of the triangle, and you needed to have it all quads to get it into ZBrush or to rig it and have it move correctly. So like when I get done with this nostril, I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's 10-sided, right? So that means there's 5 sides, which is an odd number on each side. So if I separate these a little bit and I even them out, I'm looking at it and I'm going, okay, well, I don't want 5 and 5. Let's do 6 and 6. Let's keep everything, to at least it doesn't have to be a power of 2, but divisible by 2 just guarantees you're going to have an easier time with it than if you come up with any odd numbers. So I'll just add one more in there, holding down Control, and one more in here. So now I know I have 6 on each side, and I can evenly distribute those on each side of the nostril. Right? And I just take this to heart. Like, this is going to make your life easier if you get disciplined. It might seem hard at first. Trust me, it's way easier than dealing with a bunch of odd numbers and bad transitions from, taking the detail of the face and running it all the way down the back of the spine or sternum. I see animation modelers do that a lot because they don't have the discipline. Oh, we used to have for game modeling, and I just laugh. I'm like, oh man, that's just sloppy and ugly. They're just relying on the smooth algorithm to do the work for them, So now we have an easier time, hopefully, connecting this together. So we can count some of these other ones as 3, 4, 5. But now this should transition around the spike here at the nose. So we can go click in here and here, and then shift. Let me undo that. Yeah, it was reaching all the way across there. So sometimes you do have to get to a good view angle and maneuver this around so that you have an easy time when you hit shift to get that quad to draw. There it goes. And then same thing, just smooth your quads out. I haven't done the relax tool yet, but we'll get to that. There we go. And these will snap together. So if you get an odd one, you can always, let's see, is it tab? No, Control, must be Alt. Is Alt delete? No, Control. And where is the delete on here? I forgot. Delete the dots. Oh, all 3 of them. Control, Shift, and left mouse button to delete the dot. It's right there. There we go. So if you get a dot, if you go dot, 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 you're like, oh crap, I don't want those dots out there. Control Shift left click, you'll see a little X forms next to the cursor. There we go. And that'll kind of save you some time there. So depending on the complexity of your model, you might be here for a little bit, and that's another good reason to keep your model simple for now. If you're more experienced, I'll give you guys some leeway, but I'm really just trying to save you from having a really hard time, panicky time for final or midterm by doing something crazy complex. Usually it's the costume that'll trying to do perfect anatomy and doing a really crazy complex costume will cause a lot of the pain and struggle doing this. There we go. That worked out pretty good right there. Just let it flow. And if you see long sliver triangles, like just kind of even them out. Speaking of which, if you hit the shift key is relax. So shift will just relax and even out all of your quads for you. Look at that. I mean, what a cool tool that is. That just evened all my edges out. Instead of moving the vertices one at a time like I started doing, I got to stop myself and go, wait a minute. Use that relax tool. It is awesome. All right, so we'll come up here to this top of this little spike right here. So to do that spike correctly, we may need to do a little bit of wizardry here. Yeah, we're going to have to go around a little bit. And see, there's 2 quads in between there and none in between here yet. So I'm kind of debating how I'm going to get this done. There it goes. 1, 2, 3. And then, yeah, even if you're a veteran, this takes some thinking to get it just right. The top of the spiky nostril piece right here isn't quite what I want. So I'll come back to it. If you get to transition area, just do the easy stuff first and then work any goofy areas out later. Like that's the N-gon poly split. So I have a lot of polygons here and I need less out here. Do 1 point out in the middle, do another point right here, and you want to do 3 quads in this area. So 1, 2, 3. You just went from 2 rows of quads coming in to a single. 1, 2 rows of quad to a single. There's your N-gon triangle split once more, saving the day, making this simpler rather than more complex. The complexity you need, again, is around the nostril and the eye socket and the ear. You don't want or need a bunch of complexity on the larger areas like the snout. At least usually you want. It'll save you some time. Oops. Yeah, and if it jumps across where you don't want, you just gotta bring the mouse controller up, coming up underneath here. Similar. There we go. Going around the brow region. If it's really tight, you could pull it up around that bend. You see that big area is bulging out right there. It's all right, just Control Shift and click to delete. And we're clearly going to need another piece up here. So we'll just draw the quad now, the top of the brow, and we can even continue those points. And then hold down Shift, tap, 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 tap. And now bridging between those sides becomes way easier. Right, see right there. Not quite so simple right in here. So we'll move that out of the way. Maybe delete that one and bring another piece right there. And now we have enough to go around the side and just even them out a little bit. Yeah, I've been doing this a long time, so you might have a struggle with this at first. It might take you a long time to get the first one, but hey, get that first one done and don't sweat it. You'll have plenty of time to do a whole bunch more and do the free sculpts, and then re-topologizing it becomes second nature and not as big of a deal as it may seem at the moment. Looks like maybe I didn't need that piece there after all. I could maybe think about letting these connect. And they will snap together for you automatically too, is the other thing I didn't mention. So if you grab a vertex, it will snap automatically to the other one. There it goes. So I'm snapping these all together. And if they don't snap right away, just give it a couple more tries. So it's like a target weld built into it, which is really badass. There we go. Continue moving these over by edge, by face, or by vertex, right? Pretty amazing. There we go. See how I'm letting the detail, the higher detail region of the eye dictate how much I add up here in the brow region, right? So I have a triangle right here that I need to get rid of. So I'm just going to delete that triangle and this one for that matter. And then I'm just going to bring that around the side and then allow that to have a three spoke intersection right there. And whenever something protrudes up, you will usually need a 3. See, there's a 3-star intersection here and a 3-star. When it protrudes up, you need 3-star. When it's down inside of a gap, you have a 5-star. Where it's pushing in, 5-star intersection. Where it's coming up to a ridge mark is a 3-star intersection. Really important to remember. That little detail will save you a lot of time and energy. All right, coming around the top here. And feeling pretty good about where we're at. Whoops. If I go going too fast, just got to add those extra vertex points. And then after I get a little bit farther here, I'm going to hold down shift and just going to relax all of these. You see, get nice, smooth flow. But remember, it's snapping to the model. So it's going to, they're all going to relax and average out, but it's going to average and relax out to the model that it's has a live surface snap to. So you see I'm not quite a quarter of the way done, but I'm getting there. And you see this beautiful topology flow. It's going to deform really nicely. It's going to do what we want it to do. A little snag there. That was scary. I thought I was going to have a moment of panic. Yeah, let's continue where we're at around the eye socket. So not really happy with having this all bunched up in here. So I'm going to kind of spread these out a bit more around the back side of the eye. There we go. And I can move all these vertices out. There we go. And just shift, let them relax. It'll pull towards the longer. So it gets rid of a lot of the 2-to-1 ratio or a lot of the quads that are stressed out and have are too long or to have a too long of a jagged trapezoidal shape. The relax algorithm works really well in this program. So there it goes, just smoothing it out some more so that they all pull out there to the side. And that way, if I come over here underneath the eye socket and kind of spacing all these out a little bit better again, just click around, matching edge loop for edge loop, and then shift, click, 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 and another one right there. There we go. Yeah, pretty good. This is a bit long. We can move that over. That's a bit long as well. Not sure if we need all of them yet, but we'll make that decision as we get farther along. Yeah, it's definitely sliver right there. And I do like this intersection coming. It's good if we can get around the edge loop it's good if we can get these two vertices to snap together right here. There we go. And then move these out and about. We don't want to have that inner coming off and adding in a quad at a weird diagonal angle in there. So I'm just going to keep moving these guys out of the way a little bit, and it's coming up underneath the cheek, coming out some more. And you can see I have a long sliver one there, and they're kind of bunched up over here. No problem. Just move that main one over and then shift, relax. Move it over, shift, relax. Move it over and shift, relax. That's okay. We do want the longer, thinner ones around where the eyes are gonna blink and close. I'm not gonna do the inside the eye socket. I'm not gonna do the inside of the nostril or the mouth cap. I want to get the full shape of this done first, and then focus on trying to do those kind of problematic detailed areas. This one right here, maybe better to have this snap together at the base of it. Yeah. So I was thinking earlier and I didn't finish the thought. But we can always move these around. Right here, maybe it's going to split across. There. Shift smooth it out. So if you want to do six-sided, right? So 1, 2, 3. So I need 3 on each side. Whoops. And too many dots. That's okay. Control Shift click. And then come around the side. Oh, it went way up on there. And then Shift click there. And then around the side here, we got 1 too many. It's okay. I'll do another one at the base. They snap together when you get to the symmetry base, and then we want it to stretch from this corner to these two. So Shift, there it goes. That's what we wanted, and then snap those together. So that's a 1, 2, 3. So that's 3 on each side. That's a six-sided. If it didn't quite snap, just grab the edge and go across the symmetry point a couple times and until it snaps together. Quite sure what's happening. Yeah, there we go. Okay, that worked. And maybe I'm trying to force it. Maybe it needs 8 sides. So if that's the case, then for these bigger ones, I'll just come around here to the side like that, and we'll just go Control 1 and 2, and now it's an 8-sided shape. 1, 2, 3, 4. Excuse me, now it's 10. 1 too many. There we go. Just that one division made it now an 8-sided shape, and I think 8's probably the answer there. I think maybe 1, 2, 3. Oh, it is 8-sided, so it's octagon. 1, 2, 3, 4 hard sides going around. So that we'll have again an 8-sided shaped cylinder or a cone going up the top of that spike, and that'll make life a lot easier when we get to that point. So if I can match these up on the symmetry line and then just match them across the side, Shift click, and I'll probably speed up and finish the rest of this, and you can see how the rest of the Quadraw will finish off this model. Rawr, Dragonkin. Have fun.